The leanest I ever became was when I stopped trying so hard to get lean, because before that, I was doing everything. Yeah, I was doing HIIT workouts, I was doing running, I was doing all these random little ab circuits, scanning the back of every bit of food, barely eating any calories. And somehow, despite all that effort, I barely looked like I trained. And it wasn't because I had no clarity. The problem was I was trying to do all these different things at once, jumping on the latest trends, and I just had no idea what I was actually trying to build. But once I actually got clear on the body that I wanted and followed one simple process, I actually got lean without fitness taking up my entire life. And if you're putting in loads of work right now, but your body, it still doesn't reflect that, you probably don't need to do more. You probably actually need to start removing things that are literally keeping you stuck. Because the biggest problem that I see today is most people, they try to complete their entire transformation all at once. They're trying to shred body fat, they're trying to build muscle, they're trying to improve their running, their endurance, their strength, and somehow expecting to recover from all this. And there's no clear phase, there's no clear direction. They're just grinding in the gym and hoping that combining enough of all this fitness shit that they see online is going to produce them some elite physique. It's going to produce them some elite body transformation. But the reality is, a body transformation isn't going to happen in a month. And you cannot be blindly forcing every part of the transformation simultaneously. Okay, what you need really all depends on where you're at right now, currently, with your body. Like, if you're fat right now, it's going to be a very different process to if you're a complete rake. And if you're a complete rake, for example, and you have no frame to begin with, and just copying all these hybrid athletes online, you're not going to magically look like them. That is the reality, guys. Like, we want to be filling out the body. We want to be filling out the frame, you know, building that tissue. Because you're copying a finished product right now while skipping all the years that have created it. Yeah, you need a clear outcome that is literally pulling everything in one direction. Because building and working harder on all the wrong things, the wrong phase, it isn't going to get you there any faster. Yeah, it's just going to lead to burnout, and it's going to make you more tired and just skinny fat, guys, which is not what we want. So one of the first things I had to do, which was a turning point for me, was I had to get clear on the body I actually wanted. Okay, and most people don't do this when they start their fitness journey. They just go straight into having no destination, no direction. They say they want to tone up. They say they want to lose a bit of fat and look a little bit better. Like, gay, guys. Yeah, that is gay. That gives you no root. What does looking better actually mean? Now, what body fat are you aiming for? How much tissue do you actually want to be added onto the frame? You know, what areas do you need to develop? How you operate in day to day, your energy, your posture, your presence. Yeah, that is the type of shit we need to get dialed in. Okay, that is the detail that we have to go into it. You know, not vague goals, guys. Yeah, this isn't going to build the body that you want. And again, it's not all about aesthetics here. You know, I stood in the mirror and I got very clear on who I wanted to become. And then from there, I actually grabbed a pen and paper and I went on a little bit of a self-development journey, in all honesty, you know, writing down everything that I wanted to achieve. And, you know, this is something I actually do every morning now. This is my identity calibration process. And I actually give this to all my clients, you know, align with that highest version of myself. Even now, guys, yeah, I have a goal with my physique. Okay, even now, I'm always trying to improve. You know, I'm always getting clear on what I'm trying to achieve. And I knew at the start I didn't want to look like Arnold. I didn't want to look like one of these bodybuilders that you see online, these fucking cartoon characters. But I also knew I didn't want to look like a runner either. Like, let's be honest, no one wants to look like a runner. I wanted that movie star physique, you know, muscular, not enormous, but lean, and the broad shoulders and the developed chest and, you know, the arms, the tight waist, guys, just looking good in clothing. That is what it's about, guys. Just a body that actually earns respect and you just look good year round. And the way I see it, guys, we should be building ourselves like characters. Yeah, leveling up. Like, honestly, decide, guys, what your character is going to look like, how he's actually carrying himself, their standards, his body, what his body actually represents. Because once I knew who I was actually becoming, then you can actually start working backwards. Okay, what's the training that's going to build that body? What's the cardio that is going to support it? How much food is going to be required? Yeah, the correct macro setup. What habits, guys, are going to move me forward towards that goal? What needs to be removed out my life? Because clarity, it doesn't only tell you what you need to do. Yeah, it tells you what you need to remove. And this is where this whole hybrid style training comes in, because I've done it myself. You know, probably a year ago, I cut ties with it. Probably less than a year ago, a couple months ago. But I've done this style of training, guys, and I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't enjoy it. Like, I fucking loved running at the time, and I was running 70k kilometers a week. You know, I used to get up at 2:45 and do these 3 a.m. runs, and that really built my mindset up. That really built that discipline with myself, and it built a lot of my aesthetics. But the problem you're seeing is you're seeing all these guys online, the HYROX guys, the marathon runners, all these mass monsters online, you know, Nick Bare, Nathan French guys. But these type of people, they spent years building the body first. Yeah, and if you're trying to get lean right now, which you should be, every man should be lean year round, but you haven't got much muscle to begin with, you need to start progressing in the gym. Yeah, you need to actually start eating enough to fill out the frame. Okay, the style of training, like that hybrid style, in all honesty, it requires a lot of food, guys. It requires a lot of carbs and a lot of recovery and just constant eating, constant fucking digestion. It's a bit of a blood sugar roller coaster, in all honesty, like at times. And fitness just ends up taking up your entire day, which is not how it should be, guys. Yeah, that is not how it should be. Okay, and honestly, even just from a physique standpoint, it's not the most optimal if you're trying to put weight on in the gym, guys. Like for me now, I just want this lean, this muscular, athletic look without feeling all wiped out all day. Like I just want to be physically and mentally sharp. So weight training has now become the foundation for me, guys, in all honesty. You know, and I've invested in a top physique coach literally a little over a year ago today, guys, and I just learned his ways. Yeah, I actually just worked on my mindset, because a lot of fitness is mindset. Not enough people talk about this. And that just brought the structure into my life. Okay, the structure that I was missing. You know, I was following a structured program that was given to me and just had clarity on all the areas that I actually needed to improve. You know, cardio became deliberate. All my daily setup became deliberate. I didn't need to train as hard. Yes, I still train hard. Okay, I train like a fucking psycho. You should be walking that gym thinking you're better than everyone. But I stopped all this random training, and that is the difference. Yeah, that is the difference. You know, every part of my training became intentional. Okay, as opposed to me just walking in there and trying to get a sweat on and just pretending that I was productive for the sake of it. That's not the game, guys. Yeah, that is not the game. The game is to build a physique that is well proportioned. Now, the next thing I had to remove was this whole belief that eating less means you're going to get leaner. You're going to look leaner. You're going to get faster results. Because all I did before that, guys, when I was trying to get lean for the first time, was I'd scan absolutely everything. Tesco meal deals. You know, I'd choose all this, whatever's in the supermarket that was labeled low calorie or low sugar. And I was following all this, if it fits into my calories BS, which is BS, guys. It's fucking bullshit, okay? This whole calories in, calories out. Like, if you want to be high energy, if you want to be high frequency, if you actually just want to be powering through life, you want to be going to bed and you're still at, you know, 100% battery level, you can't be doing all this calories in, calories shit. Yeah, you need to actually get your macros dialed in. And I used to avoid carbs as well, okay? You know, I used to have fucking egg whites and tuna for dinner when I was trying to get down to 8% on the lead up to my holidays and all of this, guys. And it felt like I was progressing. But the reality is I was just starving. I was starving and I thought it was discipline. I thought it was, you know, I thought I was just having some sort of level of restriction. But the reality is my training suffered, my recovery suffered, my sleep suffered. I had no fucking energy and my muscles looked flat and I was thinking about food all day. And I used to have these binge eats, and that's not freedom, guys. Yeah, that is not freedom. Okay, like you need to actually build your entire lifestyle so it's sustainable and not build your entire life around trying to not eat, guys. Yeah, that is the shift. You need to start seeing food as fuel, not comfort. You don't need to see it as fucking comfort like it is these days, but you don't need to be frightened of it. Okay, what you eat actually reflects your standards, the body that you actually hold, that look, guys. And you actually want to be cognitively sharp. Yeah, you want that mental performance to go with it. So the macros need to be dialed in, and you need to be eating from whole foods 365 days a year. Yeah, that's what I that's what I encourage all my clients. Like, unless they're a complete rake, in which case then we could maybe bring in, you know, the squares bars and stuff like that to just push up the size, push up the calories. But I tend to run a high carb, high protein, low fat diet, yeah, based on where I'm at, in all honesty. But that's usually what I will run most years. Again, it might change phase by phase. And again, the same core meals, guys, okay? I just hit it on repeat, me personally, all day, every single day of the year. I have a simple system. You know, I ain't scanning the pack of everything and panicking about what's gonna spill over, you know, my calories for the day. I'll just eat the same core meals 5-6 days a week, and then maybe one day where I just hit my protein and my calories for the day, and that just allows me to actually stay lean year round. But you actually just want to know how your body's actually responding to this food, what it actually requires. You know, if you're just randomly guessing food and going into the supermarket day to day and then just, you're not going to progress, okay? Just remove the fucking decision fatigue, remove the mental energy, and just get the same core meals installed. Now, the next thing I stopped doing was I stopped trying to get leaner and leaner and monitoring the mirror every single day. I think a lot of people get obsessed when they wake up some mornings and they look a little bit softer and they're checking the scales daily. Yeah, daily. Like, maybe you've gone up a little bit, but that's just down to, you know, a potential shit night of sleep. Or, you know, you might have had a salty meal at a restaurant and then you just end up eating less, and then you end up upping the cardio. I remember there was a time when I was trying to get shredded down, he fucking collapsed on the fucking machine. Yeah, the Stairmaster. You know, I was just depriving myself, and all this panicking and changing the plan. And then you might have one bad day, one bad meal, and you just think you've completely fucked it all up. And this is where most people, they fuck up. They're letting their emotions control the whole process, okay? Like, the reality is you never followed anything long enough to actually see the results. Yeah, you never actually stuck to the plan. And that is why the structure is so important. This is what literally changed for me. Okay, the training was planned. My food was decided. My cardio was established. You know, even just my sleep was prioritized, which was a big one for me. And everything was just consistent. Yeah, and that way I'm judging the body on a weekly basis based on the trend, as opposed to fucking daily and just panicking. Yeah, the second I stopped thinking about it every day, the process became very, very easy. Yeah, less stress on the body. I wasn't forcing anything. I wasn't having all this emotional change, and like, my only job was to execute. Okay, the setup was literally in front of me, and that's why just getting a coach is honestly non-negotiable. I will always myself have a coach, in all honesty. You don't realize the power of proximity. Like, you've got to look at players like Ronaldo. Yeah, all these great athletes. They all have coaches because they want to be the best in their field. You know, I didn't cheap out, guys, either. You know, I didn't cheap out. I invested in a top physique coach, and like I say, mate, he was honestly, he's like a father figure to me, in all honesty. Like I say, I'm not going to go too into it. Like I say, I haven't had that role model growing up, but you don't realize the power of proximity, and it just allows you to see the world from a different lens. But again, now probably the biggest thing holding a lot of people back today from getting lean, and I myself in the past was trying to outwork shit recovery. And this is the part that most people ignore when they're trying to get lean. You know, I was training 7 days a week, in all honesty, non-stop, guys. Yeah, sometimes twice a day, sleeping like shit, suppressing my appetite with caffeine and White Monster, guys. I love the White Monster and black coffee. And then I was wondering why my body wasn't responding. Poor sleep, guys. is going to make the whole process of getting lean a lot harder, because if you're sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, your training's going to get worse, your recovery's going to get worse, your hunger's going to increase. Yeah, you're going to be less active without even realizing, and your energy is just going to absolutely fucking tank, which is not what you want. That is going to leave you open for the comfort, the convenience. Yeah, you're leaving it to chance, and you're just not getting leaner because you're just constantly thinking about doing more work. And the reality is, you should just prioritize your sleep. Okay, like you should be getting 7 to 8 hours a night. It should be non-negotiable. Like it should be. Yeah, like I protect my sleep no matter what phase I'm in. Like me personally, I'm a big fan of the early wake up and the early bedtime. You know, that's actually one of my habits for the day, which you can actually get all 10 in the link below. But prioritize the sleep, guys. Okay, sleep is so important, especially if you're trying to build a physique, if you're trying to build a body. You can't fight against shit recovery. Now, the last thing I stopped doing was I stopped constantly searching for the next answer, you know, the next split, the new diet, the new supplement. Yes, I've probably spent thousands on supplements over the years, all this shiny object BS. Like, you think you're being productive, but it's not the answer. Yeah, every time you're changing direction before your current process has worked, guys, you're just resetting the clock. Like, the reality is you need to get the basics dialed in. Yeah, that is phase one. Okay, get the basics dialed in, get the training plan dialed in, get the nutrition set up dialed in, and just execute and review and fine tune when it's needed on a weekly basis, maybe. Yeah, to continue actually pushing forward. You don't need all these fancy supplements. Like, yes, supplements are great, but once you actually master the basics, like they're literally 1%, you know, they're going to give you 1% change. That's the reality, guys. Like, you will see results a lot faster if you get the basics locked in. And finally, guys, the last thing I stopped doing was constantly feeling like I was just trying to get lean. Like, I literally just let it become a normal life. And fast forward to today, you know, I'm staying lean year round, anywhere from that 10 to 12% body fat range. I don't like to spill over that because, in my opinion, if you spill over 12%, you're fat, guys. Yeah, in my book. Anyways, but my training, my daily process, it all reflected the body I wanted. My weekends, they stopped completely destroying my weekdays. And I was just living in alignment with the body I wanted, okay? I started making sensible choices. I started saying no to a lot of people. I started cutting the vices. And that's what got me to the goal here today. Yeah, not getting lean for 8 weeks, not getting lean for a couple fucking photos in Ibiza, but also not letting your entire life be dieting to stay lean and just gym becoming your whole day. Just let it become a lifestyle, just something that you just do, habits, okay? Yeah, like, that's the way I see it, guys. Getting in shape for me is just normal. That's how you honestly have to look at it. So when I say the less I tried to get lean, the leaner I got, I don't mean I stopped caring. I just stopped trying to complete the transformation all at once. And I just started enjoying the process. And I stopped copying all these other people and started focusing on myself, yeah, who were literally building something different. Okay, I stopped training purely to exhaust my body, and I just got clear on the man and the body I wanted to become. And I'm only continuing to grow today, guys. You know, with the training, with the nutrition, with the lifestyle, guys. It's all going towards one outcome, and that's when getting lean literally stopped feeling like a full-time job, and I started putting loads of effort in other things, not just the gym and my body, guys. Yeah, that's the reality, guys. Like, you don't need more information. You need a roadmap. You need to actually know where your body is right now and whatever phase you're in, what it requires next. Yeah, to be moving forward, to remove your current approach. Because if you carry on doing what you're currently doing, like, what's going to change in the next 6 months? Okay, like, you can put all the effort in the world, but if you don't have a clear process designed around your body, around your life, and the man you want to become, you're just guessing. That's the reality, guys. So if you're serious about building a lean, sharp physique that you can actually hold year round, that you can let it become a lifestyle, there's literally a link to my elite program down below. Again, this is for the committed guys. This is for savages. This is for guys who are ready to go all in, but you don't need to try harder, okay? You need to actually know where you're at and just go all fucking in. Now, you can shoot me a message over on Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit, but I hope you took some value, guys. There's going to be a lot more content coming, but stay lean and stay sharp.